So, yeah, I mean, I get it, but I don't know what else to do.
Right.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say, we're gonna go with order. All right, thanks everyone for their patience. I think we're all back now.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, I'd like to, pick up our agenda. We have, old business. First up is resolution R-21-25. Resolution creating the position of Economic and Community Development Manager and establishing the essential duties and functions of the position. This is submitted by the mayor. This was a continuation of the motion from the April 21st, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Any questions?
I have a comment. May I?
You may come to the podium.
Or
and-
is it a later time better? In your meeting?
I'll bring it up now.
Is it related to this piece of legislation?
It is.
Okay.
Economic development?
Yep. Podium name and address for the record, please.
Michelle Anthony, 203 Tournament Trail. But I was one of the ones that didn't get affected by that incident, and I'm so sorry for all my neighbors that did. So I just wanted to state, because of my profession and the fact that I've been in this business, commercial real estate advisor for almost 17 years, I have had the pleasure of working with economic developers. They are the key, the first person I reach out to anytime I have a listing in the market. They are the person that knows everything about all of my questions about how to do business in that city. So to me, hiring a dedicated economic developer is the single most strategic move Portland can make to attract new business here. This is also to revitalize key corridors like West Main and unlock funding opportunities that drive sustainable growth in the city. They are specially trained to attract and retain businesses, unlock grants and capital investments, and lead strategic planning and revitalization. My dearly departed uncle, I'm going to his funeral next week. He was the economic developer for Richmond, Virginia. I just want to stand here and attest what a difference this position would make for this community. We are really on the precipice of so many great things here. I am also one of the founding members of the Cortland Collaborative, and we want to see this community thrive. And I want to state one thing, I wrote it down on purpose. The right economic developer will act as a catalyst for progress, turning potential into measurable results. This is an investment in Cortland's future, its families, and its economic resilience. This is not just about us anymore. It is really laying the foundation for future generations, because I'm seeing the age that I am right now. I can't keep speaking to myself. We've got to speak to the next generation. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other comments? All right. Rhonda, can I have a roll call, please?
Don Moore,
Yes.
John McCurry,
Yes.
Scott Rowley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer,
Yes.
Dick McLean,
No.
Kevin Pyro.
Yes. Okay, next up is ordinance O-21-25, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with SE Blueprint for the digitalization of the City of Cortland maps and drawings. This is the second reading submitted by the mayor. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
John McCurry,
Yes.
Scott Rowley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer,
Yes.
Dick McLean,
Yes.
Don Moore, Kevin Pyro.
Yes. Next is ordinance O-22-25, an ordinance authorizing the City of Cortland to enter into a contract with Shelley and Sands, Inc. for the 2025 asphalt resurfacing program. This is the second reading submitted by the interim service director. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Question. Sean, assuming that it goes to the third reading, do you have a time frame of when they think they might be able to start? Like,
You'll mobilize within 30 days, hopefully. But again, it really depends on when we give them the green light and what comes up.
but definitely this year.
This year.
He said mobilize within 30 days.
So I would say they'll start within this year. How about that?
Okay. Any other
Start
questions?
within this year.
Start within this year. Got it.
There you go. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Rhonda, can I have a roll call?
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John Burcheri.
Yes.
Kevin Parrott.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Ordinance O-24-25, an ordinance repealing ordinance O-35-24 that created 2 associate service director positions for the city of Cortland. This is an emergency submitted by Councilwoman Fleischer. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a motion on the emergency, please? So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
No questions, I just wanna make sure, for the minutes, for the record, that, understand these are eliminating 2 positions within the department, not 2 active employees, but the actual, just the position placeholders within the department.
Any other comments? Okay, Rhonda, can I have a roll call on the emergency, please?
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John Burcheri.
Yes.
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kevin Parrott.
Yes. And now a roll call on the ordinance, please.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John Burcheri.
Yes.
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Kevin Parrott.
Yes.
Can they do this? Because this falls under Sean's purview.
They, yes, if you read through the ordinance, what they are doing is withdrawing the third, whereas clause, council has reviewed its appropriations for the employment positions within the city pursuant to Charter Section 8.06, believes it's in the best interest of the city service department to cancel the appropriations for the 2 associate service director positions. That's pulled right out of the charter.
Okay. But as we discussed in the executive session, the general fund has millions of dollars in it. How can you justify removing 2 positions that are actually under Sean's purview? That would just be my only question.
Well, it's not me. I'm not asking a question. That's
It was a statement, not a question.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's a question for council, I believe. The
Have we
legal theory behind what they did is what I read into the record.
Yeah.
Council created, council took away, I guess.
The only way you can remove a position is by, just like Patrick said, is by, removing the appropriation. But we have sufficient appropriations to fund both of these positions. So, I'm just asking,
Duly noted.
I guess I'll make a comment there, possibly, Patrick, let me know if I'm going on the wrong path or if I'm incorrect, though. I'm okay with eliminating these positions, associate service director positions, which are positions where generally would have people who report to them. If our interim service director decided that he needed to ask for additional positions for the department that did certain tasks or labor or, direct labor, funding to do that, and we were permitted to do that, then I would understand why that someone would ask for that.
The service director, or the director of public service department, does, have the ability to employ assistants and employees, as from time to time may be necessary for the discharge of his or her duties in the service department, subject to appropriations by council. So, it's a little bit of a joint effort here, folks, okay? He decides who he wants and when he wants them, and,
And these two associate service directors were created under a previous administrator of that department.
that's correct.
Just something to think about.
Mr. Mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Next is ordinance O-25-25, an ordinance authorizing the interim service director to repair and purchase brakes for the city's street sweeper from JDC. This is an emergency submitted by the interim service director. May I have a motion on the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a motion on the emergency, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Sean, you have a comment on the necessity for the emergency, please? Please, come to the podium.
Would you like me to comment on the necessity?
Yes, because it is an emergency, we have, there has to be a...
So we have a street sweeper, the hydraulic brake has failed, it's obviously not something we utilize in the winter. We brought it out of storage, the people in the department have let me know that the hydraulic brakes have failed. I think about 3 weeks ago, we trucked it out, Streetsboro, if I remember correctly.
Twinsburg, I think.
Twinsburg, thank you,
yeah.
Patrick. We trucked it out there, they tore it apart, it took them several weeks this is not like a Honda Accord, right? So, it's a massive machine, it's more like a Zamboni. And they tore it apart, took them a few weeks to assess it, we just need new brakes. So, it's an emergency because one, it's spring cleanup, I need my street sweeper back, please. And two, the reason there are not multiple quotes is it costs us $1,000. And Twinsburg is the closest place that will do it. So I deemed it an unnecessary expenditure of taxpayer funds to pay to truck it to multiple locations for multiple. The closest place, about the going rate for new hydraulic brakes on a machine that size, and
These are not brakes you can get at AutoZone.
And while he was researching the quotes and what to do with it, he did call me and said, hey, anywhere we go for another quote, we're gonna have to put it back on the truck and then move it to another location, not any closer than Twinsburg, which is an hour away, so it didn't make any sense. I mean, he was doing what was prudent under the circumstances of getting a huge machine up and running.
Thank you. Thanks, Sean.
you're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, Rhonda, can I have a roll call on the emergency, please?
John Moore,
Yes.
John Terry,
Yes.
Scott Rowley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer,
Yes.
Dick McLean,
Yes.
Kevin Pyrus.
Yes. I am going to switch up the reports.
Or did we get to the?
Oh, I'm sorry, or roll call on the emergency, please. Stay there, Sean.
Dick McLean. Dick McLean.
Yes.
John Moore,
Yes.
John Terry,
Yes.
Scott Rowley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer,
Yes.
Kevin Pyrus.
Yes. Okay, that concludes our new business. We're gonna move on to reports. Since Sean, you're already standing up, I'm gonna move you to the front of the list for the first. I'm gonna jump you in front of Patty.
I appreciate the professional courtesy. Outside of everything you've heard from our fine constituents, that's pretty much dominated the week. We're looking at relocating the offices for administration. We continue to work with the finance department to look at pathways for potential new building. This is pretty much dominated my week. Nothing further to.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
No. I'm here.
How's the West Main Street subway project?
So, good question. You know, we're making significant progress down there. You know, we've had, I would say the majority of feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. We're all done with 12-inch line. We're now working on the laterals and we're working on taps. We've had a couple change orders, you know, there were a couple fire hydrants. There's one that kept getting whacked every time we turned onto West Main, so we moved it to the other side. One in front of the health department. I personally hit my knee at least twice on that thing, so we moved it to the side of, just stuff that makes life a little bit easier, you know, and considering the street fair and, you know, the amount of people. So we've had a couple redesigns, but it really hasn't slowed down the project. And, the contractor, recently, so they have a mole, and that's the thing that'll burrow the line to make the connection to our new main. And there was one, and it went down, so they rented another one, and then repaired it. So we're looking at potentially some time savings and being very cognizant of the good gentleman at the Lions Club. We're on track to be done by the middle of June. So about 5 more weeks. So, but I would say we've had substantial completion compared to what the Gantt chart that I had sent you in March. I think, you know, we're on track, if not a little bit ahead. So, thank you. No hiccups. Good question. Thank you. Sorry.
Paving, were they just gonna patch where the hole, where the,
So,
down the middle and
so
pave?
West Main, the plan is obviously to patch and restore it, but understanding that thing looks like, you know.
Amish quilt.
Did you put it? Yes. You wanna trade jobs? You sure? So West Main is on the schedule to be repaved next year. Specifically, we have this project, and then we have the redevelopment of the empty vacant lot that will be the small amphitheater on West Main. So we wanted to not obviously pave it and then tear it up and, yeah. So yes, it is on the schedule for next year. Very good. Good one.
Thanks, Sean.
You sure?
Yep. Reserve, Sean, one more, Columbo, one more question. Okay, we're gonna pick back up. Patty, Finance Department.
Our end of year financial report should be done the end of May, and then end of May, mid-May, mid-June, somewhere in there, that month, we will be starting our audit. And it should be complete by July 31st. Other than that, be happy to answer any questions.
Questions of the Finance Department.
Is that the same audit that we were talking about? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Chief Morris, Police Department.
I will be the shortest speaker you've heard all night. I have nothing to offer, but I'll entertain any question you might have.
Any questions?
Maybe we should let you give your report early on. You could have been out here.
Okay, I can understand their frustration. Hopefully they can get some help.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, Fire Department is not here. Do you have anything on behalf of the Fire Department?
I do not, thank you.
All right. Sean, I already got you. Well, we'll just go ahead and continue. Mayor's report.
Okay, I don't have much to report, but I do have some updates on things that are happening in the city. Okay, so spring cleanup is this week. Put all your spring cleanup items out with your regular trash. Mosquito fogging will take place also this week, in the week of the 21st, on Wednesday, weather permitting. Busy week. Curbside brush pickup will be the week of the 25th. Memorial Day will be the 26th, so the city offices are closed. We have a spring business mix and mingle, tomorrow night at 5:30 at the Cortland Collaborative. And we will be showing our first ever movie on West Main, on May 28th from 5 to 9 p.m. That's all I got. Says splash pad opening question mark. That's normally what we do. So we normally open the splash pad Memorial Day weekend. So I would anticipate that we would be doing the same this year.
Perfect. Any questions of the mayor? Any committee reports this evening?
Kevin, we had finance committee today, 5:30. We talked about economic development and purchasing.
we met before the meeting, discussed some questions we had for the service department, and when we meet next time, and that's pretty much it.
Any announcements from council? Dick?
Kevin, I have two quick items. Everybody at Common Council should have received the sheet that they're placed tonight, and I've got a couple extra here if anybody in the public would like it. This sheet outlines the plans that we have for the Memorial Day program, which will be on Memorial Day, Monday, May 26th at 2 o'clock. It's actually a bridge dedication. The Portland Veterans Memorial Committee, along with the city, got state approval to dedicate the South High Street Bridge to all Portland area veterans. And the sheet gives you a little bit of an outline as to the activities and so forth that we've got planned for that day on May 26th. And bottom line on this sheet, based on what occurred last November on Veterans Day, when we had to cancel the first time due to rain, we have made rain plans. You wouldn't think it might be needed with all the
Rain we already had.
rain that we've been having. But, there's a couple sheets here if anybody would like that. Secondly, I'd just like to point out that the Veterans Memorial, the water feature is operating as of Friday, I think it was. The folks from Gilmore came up and serviced it and activated it, as they have done every year since 2018 when we built the memorial. So, and they do that voluntarily. That's a contribution from the Gilmore Company. We appreciate it very, very much.
We'll do the opening and closing.
The opening in the spring and closing and winterizing it in the fall, yes.
Extremely grateful for their contribution. Chief, I take it, since that is a major thoroughfare, we've never closed High Street before, we have ample and we're prepared for that, because normally we do it, we close Walnut.
Yeah, we'll be prepared for that. It's, we shut down High Street for the parade, we'll be fine with it.
Okay. Thanks, Dick. Any other announcements from council? Anyone else from the audience that didn't speak earlier? I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a roll call?
John Security,
Yes.
Scott Rowley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean,
Yes?
Don Moore,
Yes.
Kevin Fowler.
Yes. So thank you, everyone.
Long all day, are you two done?
Hey, John.
Well, you found it. I'm keeping it now. All right, well, at least I know where it's at, okay?